What's up, everybody? It's your boy, the Italian Stallion, here for another episode of Rebels with a Cause. You know what time it is, baby. It's Tuesday night. We are live for the cause because remember, that cause don't stop when the clock hits zero. Got a big show tonight. Got a lot to talk about. Got some house cleaning business to do, but we got so much action-packed show. Hope our girls soccer team won tonight against Powell. They were playing for a spot in the region championship. Bearden took care of business as expected against Central 5-0. So the winner of the West Powell game was going to go on ahead and play Bearden Thursday night at the the stadium there at Bearden for a region championship. Didn't go so well last week for the district when they lost 7-0. But listen, that's like the number one team in the country, not just the state, the country. But I'd love to get another shot at them and so forth. And obviously, with West winning, win or lose, they would be in the sub-state taking on probably either Science Hill or Kingsport Dobbins Bennett in a matchup next Monday. But that being said, want to just start off with our house cleaning like we normally do. First and foremost, the views and opinions of this program are not affiliated with those of any other organization or of West High School. This is solely the RWAC Crew's views. That's myself, the Italian Stallion, two-pair Tate, Brian Tate, and the coach stats man himself, Mr. Shane O'Mac. So, like it, love it. These are our opinions. And want to give a shout out to our guy, Mr. Alex Thatcher, Knoxville Coffee Company. They're at the heart of Marble City. That brew is good right there off of Sutherland Avenue any time of the day. So go pay Mr. Thatcher a visit, a class of 2003 grad, and he makes that coffee with a lot of love. And also want to give a shout out to my gals, Kim Castle and Rachel Davis over at the King's Chamber. Pedicures and manicures are now up and running, so you can give them a call and get one scheduled. I had one, and it was fantastic. And they, still doing the other stuff too, the beard trims, the haircuts, the massages. Definitely go pay them a visit, and you get two nice beverages on your visit. So definitely go pay him a visit. And also, my guy, the coach himself, will probably be plugging himself. So if you need a good electrician, I'll let him rep himself when he gets on here once I introduce him properly to the show. With that being said, though, we got some serious business this Thursday night. The Rebels, surprise, surprise, are on TV for the fourth time this year. We will be hosting the Anderson County Mavericks on Rivalry Thursday. And I'm hoping that they will be doing their homework, watching our show, and maybe give it a plug, since we helped them the last time Rivalry Thursday was hosting or covering a West football game against Bearden. But that being said, love to the Rivalry Thursday for even coming to Marble City West High School and senior night there as we honor the West Rebels in this big matchup with the number 2 team in the state from 4A respectively, coming in with a perfect 7-0 record, the Anderson County Mavericks. Last time these two teams faced off, West won 9-7. Marshawn Bowers, shout out to him, made an incredible, thought he was down, stayed up by somehow and made a touchdown, and that was the difference, even though West had been down most of that game 7-3 in a very turnover weird game. But it was that game that helped propel West onto the 8-game winning streak that ultimately led to back-to-back. So I'm hoping Magic can strike twice. And it just takes 8 games, fellas, for you all to be immortal with that three-peat. And it can still happen. A lot to play for on the table, but it starts Thursday night. That being said, got a lot to talk about, and I want to talk about it with my co-host, and I want to bring him on properly. First and foremost, he is Mr. 2003 West. It doesn't matter what day or year it is, he will always be Mr. 2003 West, a legend. He is going on his 19th season coming up. I got excited because on Twitter I saw the Lady Rebels basketball schedule was released, and he will be calling those games as well as the Runnin' Rebels. 19 years now, so you will be definitely when you come to the Rebel Rowdies house for them home games this year. I'm so excited. And also, he's going to be doing some basketball for the inaugural season of the Pellissippi Panthers basketball. So I'm telling you, such a talented dude. I'm so proud not only to call him one of my good friends, but also my brother, favorite Florida State Seminole, the one, the only two-pair Tate. Brian Tate, what is up, brother? How you doing?
Hey, what's going on, man? Definitely gonna be at the game Thursday, but I think I'll be there around the second quarter. Because I know I'll be at work as soon as kickoff happens, so I'll get there right around the second quarter. But yeah, man.
Well, and you got something helping you out. You got them commercials from Rivalry Thursday that last forever, so that might help you out. So there you go.
Might help me out enough time to get some Petros.
There you go. So
gotta get my date, gotta get my Petros when I'm doing the filming.
absolutely.
Stuff too. Got a lot of archive stuff.
Oh yeah, we do. Yeah, we do. No, we got some serious stuff. We got a lot. We've got a lot going on, and we got a lot to talk about. I also want to bring on our other co-host. Give him the floor for a second while he plugs. If you need a good electrician, because we got a lot to talk about this Thursday. Also wanted to bring up to you with you guys another subject. It was released the numbers of the enrollment for the teams. So certain teams are going to be 5A next year, and certain teams are going to be 6A. And how they're going to do the divisions will be released in a month from now, and to be a story that we'll have to look at, especially when it comes to football more than anything. I don't think they're going to mess with basketball and that too much, the other sports, because those are still 3 classifications, or actually 4 classifications respectively. So yeah.
Bodies are in the schools at that point.
Yeah, exactly. Well, without further ado, let me bring him on. Let me just tell you this. This guy is the hardest working guy I know. Not only is he a father of 3, but my goodness, he coaches a great group of kids over at Carnes. Always working whatever hours, on call. It's amazing he even has any type of social life whatsoever. But if you want a dude that can definitely help you out, especially when it comes to electrician type things, definitely hit him up. But, we know him as not only our stats guy and our brother, a fellow class of 2003 grad of the West High Rebels, a true rebel with a cause, but he is also been known as the coach by Mr. Parker Dubon, and that's how it's going to stay. So let's bring him on. Give him a warm round welcome applause everywhere you are watching it live or recorded. Mr. Shane O'Mac, the coach.
What's up,
buddy?
How are we doing tonight? Everybody doing good?
What up,
doing great. We're doing good, coach. So, but plug it, man. Tell us if anybody needs some work, what can you do for them, bud?
Well, I'll try to post my comment on here. Won't let my comment go in here, but hey, for all your electrical needs, all your home electrical needs, give me a call. 865-299-3206, or just shoot me a text. Hey, I'll get back to you. We'll figure out something, and I'll do everything I can to make your home better.
That's it. And he will give me that information, and I'll plug it, and that'll be an ad next week when we start the show. That being said, guys, the state rankings came out, and Anderson County right now is number 2 in the state with 7-0. West is still ranked number 9. They were off last week with a 4-3 record. So you've got the number 9 team in the state defending back-to-back champs, hosting Thursday night against undefeated Anderson County. What are your thoughts on this one going into it, as we not only we'll talk about our seniors here in a minute, but what's your thoughts on this big tussle, especially with the game was such a close game classic last year up in Anderson County? Now it's the return trip to Marble City.
Well, for one thing, they've got to start out fast, and they've got to be able to produce some points. Like, I'm gonna need some more. I'm gonna need some more up-tempo plays to Burdine, Patterson, Wren, Ray. There's got to be plays that stack on top of plays where you're getting in 2nd and 4. You're getting in 3 and you want to make the down and distance shorter each play. And I feel like we've gotten to that point now to where this should be in rhythmic. It should be in rhythmic now. but you're going up against an undefeated team. You're at home. At this point, this is kind of the do or die if you're state bound or you living off the prestige of a class before you. So this is kind of one of those games that kind of sets that tone for everything, because this game lets us know where we are as a program. Like, if we're one of those elite teams in the state, games like this where it's televised, a lot of heads are watching. This is one of those games where you've got to initiate that this is your house. It's not going to happen. It's a lot of homes wanting to wear this hoodie, that shirt. They want that. That's what they want. They want a game like this where you can show to a televised crowd in Knoxville what you are made of. Because a lot of times we're the talk of you're living off past results. Like, you guys ain't, y'all not the defending state champ. The dudes that graduated are. And I think when players hear that changes the different motor and a concept in their head to say, you know what, the seniors aren't going out like that. Like, I think the seniors got a lot to prove. And I don't think they want to go out like that.
It's true. Shane, what's your thoughts initially on this? I mean, you're taking on an opponent that actually has beaten two teams on your schedule, one of which beat you in 3 overtimes.
You've got to go out and prove that those games were a fluke, and that's not who you are. For the seniors, this is your last guaranteed home game. You've got to come out there and make a name for yourself right now. We've talked about it all year long. You know Anderson County's good. They're undefeated right now. We could very well be same right now. Well, except for that Maryville loss, I don't think anybody was touching Maryville this year. But you've got to come out and you got to play West football all 4 quarters. This is to where we're approaching playoffs, and you got to start building on playoff momentum and getting there. If you're going to win a 3rd championship, you've got to start showing that you're capable of doing it right now. No more playing half of football and just kind of relying. It's like, oh, we'll give them the first half, we'll give them the second half. No, you've got to do it all 4 quarters. No more of this whole, okay, well, we didn't do too good now we'll step up. No, you got to step up and prove it right now. It needs to be like the old days where you're blowing teams out early to where there is no chance we'll come back. I want to see a running clock in a 3rd quarter. That's West football to me. I'm tired of seeing that struggle right now.
Coach, let me ask you this, and Two-Pair, I want your thoughts on this too. How important was the bye week, and what do you feel is the most important thing coming off of a bye week? Because sometimes a team can look rusty, and sometimes a team can look fresh. And let's be real, the 7 games have all been tough in some sort of manner. And it's not like they're playing Farragut last week. Absolutely smash Oak Ridge in the face last Friday night. So that victory over Farragut was a great victory, no matter what Farragut's record is right now. So I guess my question to you is, how important is the bye week of what you expect West to come out on Thursday night?
Well, you want to see a team that shows a discipline. You want to show a well-practiced team. You want to see a well-refreshed team, because a lot of times teams can get into having that bye week and they not be the same team. They start stacking up penalties, just start making plays that don't fit winning football. And with them coming off of this break, it's going to be real interesting to see how they incorporate that to making winning football, because I think a lot of times when we're watching the offense compared to the defense, the offense is not in good field position to start the game. Like they're not in position to start the game. And then when you look at throughout the game, the defense gets put in bad field position throughout the entire game, which causes games where you're saying, wow, why is West not getting off to a fast start? Why are they not moving up tempo? Because when you watch that Alcoa game, it as soon as they couldn't convert third down, they became pressing that creates turnovers. When you're consistently pressing instead of running a balanced tempo with speed options, you got to get the ball into the playmakers' hands.
Mm-hmm.
Like that's what it's all about. It's about imposing your will at the line of scrimmage. Can we look like a team that can win in the trenches? Can we look like a team?
Mm-hmm.
Because you're on this bye week. There's a podcast. There's an app. There's media coverage on you. You have a game on TV because of the coverage is so much on this school because of the dominance we've had previously, to where you're reaping the reward. And it's like, are we gonna look good for Instagram and TV, or are we gonna actually show what we are? Because right now we look like a very celebrated media team. Like we're the media darlings, and it is kind of like when we're winning, they don't like us, but when we're right above, are we contending for a state championship, or are we just going to be a pretty good program? Like we're winning the games we're supposed to win. We're losing the games that we need to win.
Mm-hmm. It makes total sense. Makes total sense. Coach, your thoughts on it?
Same thing, really. It's just I don't know what's up with this team this year. What we saw in the spring and going into the fall, it's like, okay, we're destined for 3. This year, the way they played, it's almost like they're not playing for each other. If that makes sense.
Mm-hmm.
And you had all this hype coming into the season, and we've built into it. We've also been critical of the way they've played, but it's time to play football. I mean, we can't keep saying the same thing each week on what's been the issues. They know what the issues are. They got to correct them, and if they want that 3rd straight title, it's now or never. You need to come out and play West football from here on out till you're holding a gold football. That should be the end result. It should be all this just making playoffs. No, you should be holding a gold football till the wheels fall off this train.
I agree. No, I agree. And Two Pair, you mentioned something that, and Coach, I'd love your thoughts on it too. Is you mentioned about the trenches up front. It always starts up front. And let me just tell you this: you're going to be facing a grown 2 nights from now. Those offensive and defensive lines of Anderson County, those are some big old boys right there, and they've proven they can knock people's ass off the ball. I mean, honestly, they have. They did it against Bearden. How many points did they put up against Shane? I mean, they really, they scored 30-something points against Bearden, if I'm not mistaken. So they're a balanced offense. The quarterback can throw it. He came from Campbell County.
Mm-hmm.
When coaches throw the ball, Anderson County's always been known for controlling the ball with their running game. So you're going to be facing probably one of the best offensive balanced teams you have faced. With Alcoa, Alcoa threw it when they needed to, but they would run the ball. Maryville probably run the ball, throw it when they wanted to. Bearden, same thing. But realistically, this is the most balanced team you have faced on the offensive side of the ball all year long. And it starts up front. So you're going to have to match them, and it's going to be a grown man's game out there. And then on the flip side, their defensive line is going to get after Parker. They're going to try to get in the backfield to stop Tavion and Messiah. So the offensive line, I challenge again to come out there and really impose your will, because this is going to be a type of team you're going to face in the 2nd and 3rd round of the playoffs when you get there. And not to mention, you still have Powell in a couple weeks, who is who lost to this Anderson County team. Again, they didn't have Connor Wheeler, so maybe that would have made a difference. But at the same time, Anderson County, beat Powell and beat Bearden. So these are two teams that are on your schedule, and it shows that Anderson County is definitely going to be competing for a 4A ball. Honestly,
Anderson County won 35-18 against Bearden.
So think about that right there. Yep, 35-18. So, and like I said, Anderson County's been playing some good ball. Davey does a good job coaching them up there. He's going to have them fired up, and they probably are going to come out and wanting some revenge because they feel they let one slip last year in that 9-7 loss up there in Anderson County. So, again, this is another game that I would love to see West just come out and really impose their will. Honestly, I really would like to see that. I'm not saying this is not this is a great opponent, but at the same time, I'm kind of just like you, Shane, I'm frustrated where we know what they're capable of, but where is that fire? Where's that fight? Where is that dog in there that we know you got? Where is it?
You got to turn that switch on. It's like I tell my kids, like, there's 3 things I can't coach. That's effort, attitude, and toughness. Everything else, that's all you got to bring that. I can scheme all day. I can set you in the spots to win. If you don't bring effort, attitude, and toughness on every play, so you've got nothing left in the tank, what are you playing for?
So it's senior night in March. Obviously, they're going to honor not only the football players, but they're going to honor all the fall sports teams and recreational teams, the band, girls soccer, volleyball, the golf, and cross-country teams. So I do want to give a shout-out to each and every senior's name on this roster. Winning. The girls soccer team was actually up 1-0 at halftime. Powell looks like they scored twice in the second half and ended up winning 2-1. West is eliminated. Powell will go on to play Bearden for the region championship Thursday. West girls finished 9-6-1 on the year. So congratulations to Coach Castro and the girls on a hard season against a very tough Powell team and Bearden team. It's a bloodbath of an area when it comes to girls soccer. So I want to give a shout out to the girls soccer team. So, but that being said, these are the seniors that I have on my roster in front of me. Jack Keith, Antoine Burdine, Dominic Davis, Tyson Butler, David Drata, Riley Mannon, Parker Dubon, Corey Person, James Mills, Jones Bolig, Adarian Jackson, Jordan Hayes, Jack Hankins, Jacob Daggy, Chase Brody, Sergio Rodriguez, Antarius McAllister, Keelan Rucker, Tavion Ray, Wyatt DeRoche, Brink Colquitt, Corson Potter, Cameron Leggett, Stephen Johnson, Deshaun Battle, Brody McFalls, Jack Codavilla, and Aiden Harris. Those are the seniors that will be honored on the football team, according to this roster that I have up to date.
It's a lot of guys.
Yeah, a lot of guys that contribute, a lot of guys that play. So, and like Shane said, gotta leave it out there.
Yeah, and like, you guys are the guys for those championship teams. Like, this is your time. As seniors, like when Messiah Wren said it best, it was like, it's another day at the office. Like, get that mentality back. Like, get that mentality back of what Messiah Wren was saying on the sidelines. Like, there's so much talent on this football team that we haven't seen a complete game yet. We've not seen a complete game. We
It's true.
haven't, and it's no knock on them. It's just we've seen the special teams be dominant. We saw the defense be dominant. We saw the offense have the field position to make scores. We've not seen all those phases of the game with this team because of the record and just how it looks when you go back and watch the tape. It just like, man, watching that Alcoa game, the second half, we just didn't look like we were on the same field because we got to convert third downs. Like, we got to be put in situations that make it easier to push the ball downfield.
And the defense, even kind of at times, was out of place. I mean, here's the thing. You could convince me that they fought against Maryville a little bit harder throughout the game, despite the score, than they did against Alcoa, which it makes no sense to me. You were actually winning that ball game 10-7 over Alcoa, and then they end up scoring three straight touchdowns and or 21 unanswered points and end up winning by that margin, 28-10. That can't happen. I don't care where that game is played. And furthermore, we just, like you said, we've got to make the conversions. The other thing that's been a killer is that this offense cannot overcome a 5-yard penalty by the offensive line, whether it's a false start, an illegal procedure. I mean, we have killed ourselves. There was an offensive pass interference that absolutely destroyed that drive. And that's a 15-yard penalty the other way. We're not good enough to overcome those holes, honestly.
Yeah. Not.
So
We are.
Well, and I mean, and like I said, we know that they can do it. They've got to want to do it. We've got one of the best coaching staffs in the state, and they can't play it for them, Coach. You know that they can't do it for them. They can put the game plan, but it's like you said, the effort and the executing. Where is that? And knowing what hole you need to block, knowing which hole you need to run through. Maybe getting that pass out there just a tad quicker. Defense, making sure that you don't get any stupid penalties that extend drives for the other team, like a face mask or an unsportsmanlike conduct. That stuff has got to be cleaned up. We are in week 9 of the high school season. And here's the other thing, guys. Win or lose this game, yes, the record takes a hit. You're 4-4 at that point if you lose. You're 5-3. But at the same time, this is the type of game that you're going to face an opponent in that third round like a Powell again. And here's the other thing too. You got Halls and Powell on the road these next couple weeks, and those are region games. And like Shane said, two-pair, there's no guarantees you get a first-round home game, let alone a second. I mean, here's what's to play for. You win out. That means you win Thursday night, but you especially take care of business against Halls and Powell. You get 3 potential home games if you take care of business round by round. The fourth game, you would unfortunately have to travel to the quad 3, quad 4 winner, the quad 2 winner between region 3 and 4. So that being said, I just want to see if we can get there. That'd be the challenge. I mean, you want as many home games as possible. It's right there for you, because if you lose either of these 2 ball games in the next couple of weeks to Halls and Powell, regardless if you beat Anderson County, you're going to be on the road for the playoffs. And that makes the road even tougher, in my opinion, having to go to a Sevier County or someone like that in the Upper East Tennessee.
Yeah, man, it's true. This is the game that is going to tell a lot about yourselves. Like, you win this game with all the eyes that are watching, because last week, I don't think that was the best representation of what this team is in the second half. Like, this team is very disciplined. They put themselves in holes that showed that they aren't. But this team is a very disciplined ball club because of the foundation. It starts at top. Like they're figuring it out on this journey. You know what I mean? We are documenting it in real time. I don't think teams have ever had what they've had after going back to back. So that's a lot of pressure too. And in some aspects, they're kind of one of the most viewed teams in the state of Tennessee. Like you see constantly on certain memes on social media when they say top 5 best high schools in football, they mention West, and rightfully so. Like right now, I think they're kind of at that crossroads of trying to get for 3, where it is tougher on this class than most classes, because the class before them, they kind of got the monkey off the back of doing something should have been done 10 years ago.
Yeah.
When you look at the history of a school, you look at the history of a school and you look at the history of a program, it's games like this that people will remember. And they're either going to remember it for one or 2 reasons. You played phenomenal, or you just didn't have it. And the way you look at this type of game, because they're an undefeated squad coming into your home on Steam night. It's like it's gut check time now. Like, are you a state contender, or we're not doing any traveling? Like, I think they got the talent to do it. Like, offense, the defense is getting played into positions where they're having bad field position, and if you constantly are starting out in bad field position, that makes it harder on the defense, because they're constantly they it's harder for that defense to get people off 3 downs, because times there are some first downs that are allowed on those drives that we've watched, and you're just like, wow, you get a stop here, you get a score here, because there's been games where they dominated the possession and didn't put up any points, like going back to the first game of the season, and then it's like games stack upon games. Like you either are getting better at throwing the ball, you're either getting better at running the ball, you're either getting better at pass protection, you're either getting better at run blocking, you're getting better in some phases of the game, right? And that's what this game is about. It's like, where are we as a team right now on a televised game in the region where a lot of people are going to be watching? Where are we program right now? We play this game in 2 days?
2 days. 2 days.
2 days. We will see where this program is.
Well, and the other thing is, I've got some stats for you of to back up what type of a team is coming in here. They've got a 1,000-yard rusher in Waylon LaRue. He's had over 1,000 yards for the season, 12 touchdowns on the ground. Okay. And then they've got the quarterback, like I mentioned. And Hensley has thrown over 1,300 yards, and he has thrown 16 touchdowns. So you've got a high-powered offense coming in here. And right now, how West has scored has been in more defensively and special teams than they have in the offensive side of the ball. So you can't really get in a track meet with them. You can't. And they're going to really test that secondary. I'm glad to see McAllister's back and JP's back. So hopefully the defense will do their thing. But they've got to start with stopping the run game, because it's, like I said, the most balanced offense they're going to face. It's going to be a very tough challenge Thursday night against Anderson County. So, yeah.
It will be.
Yeah. And they're very good on defense too. They've got a kid right now that has with the last name Miller with 63 tackles on the season. So yeah, I mean, so look at that right there. Honestly, so they've got some guys, they've got some dudes, and they would love nothing more than to beat West. And also this Miller kid also has 10 tackles for a loss, just to let you know. So he has wreaked havoc in the backfield all season long. So, yeah. 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 And then they have a defensive end by the name of Holt that has 5 sacks on the year as well. So they've got some guys, they've got some dudes out there, and it's going to be a very, very interesting contest. We'll definitely pick that here shortly. But I did want to get your all's thoughts on the classification changes, by the way. Last week, the TSSAA, and I'm trying to find the article, released what the dividing lines for the classifications for the next 3 cycles are going to be. West stayed in 5A, but what is going to be very, very interesting is that Oak Ridge is now a 6A ball club. So, yes, so Oak Ridge is now 6A. And interesting enough, Heritage is now going to be a 4A program. So why that's significant when it comes to 5A football is Oak Ridge is now going to be in 6A, where you will not be facing them like you could traditionally. West and Oak Ridge would meet the day after Thanksgiving if that ever happened, and so forth. Starting next year, Oak Ridge will probably be in the region with Maryville, Bearden, Farragut. So it's going to get really tough for Oak Ridge.
Anybody that 6A drop?
In 6A, it's funny you mentioned that. I think that who's going to be a prime candidate to replace William Blunt in our region, Shane, is probably going to be, to replace Heritage is William Blunt. William Blunt dropped from 6A to 5A. So William Blunt will probably take Heritage's place in the region with Powell, Central, Halls, and West. Now, here's something very interesting that I could predict and see happening. Again, it is what it is, potato, potato. With Oak Ridge dropping, that leaves 4 teams in 3. Campbell County, Lenoir City, Clinton, and Carnes, Shane. So basically, if nobody gets added to that region, those 4 teams would automatically qualify for the playoffs. And that would just basically be, we beat each other to see who's 1, 2, 3, and 4 taking on the region 4. Now, here's what I think is going to happen, and I could be completely off. Right now, Region 1 has 6 teams. None of those teams dropped, and none of those teams went up. Those teams are Morristown West, Tennessee High, Davy Crockett, Daniel Boone, Sevier County, and Cocke County. Okay, so those 6 teams are in Region 1. What I could see very well happening is that Powell probably is going to get shifted to Region 3 and make it Powell, Carnes, Campbell County, Lenoir City, and Clinton. Let that be Region 3. And what's probably going to happen is Region 2 will have Sevier County come be in West's region. So it would be West, Sevier County, Central, Halls, and probably William Blunt taking the place of Powell or of Heritage.
And the Heritage
right now. So that's what I could see happening. Now it will play out for real in November, but I just think that it would make sense to separate Powell and West from the region. And listen, they can still play in the regular season if they want to, but a lot of people have argued that has been either your state championship game or the game to get to state, and it's been played in the third or the fourth round, and I think that it should almost be a mandatory fourth round game, with the winner of that tussle being the representative of this side of the state against whoever comes out of the middle and the west. I mean, that's what I would think. I mean, because realistically, the Powell West took care of Powell last year in the third round, but going into that game, some people were saying, why is this not the semifinal? Instead, West had to take on Walker Valley, who would be coming from that region or from that quad. So, yeah. So it's gonna be, yeah. But I'll tell you this, if they really pull a fast one and somehow do the 5-5-5 that I was talking about, and let's just say for shits and giggles, they throw William Blunt in there with Clinton and that group, and then they still move Sevier County, what a bloodbath of a region it would be with Halls, Central, Powell, West, and Sevier County all in the same region. I mean, that could be a possibility too. I would hope they wouldn't do it, but at the same time, I mean, you would have to earn your bacon to get to the playoffs in that gauntlet, especially with how improved Halls and soon to be Central will be as well.
Yeah.
So something to think about. Central's
going to be a better football team. Like, Central's going to be a better football team.
Oh, without a doubt.
Like, I really think that just watching the way they play, I can tell Central be a good football team. And like I said, Gibbs has been Friday Night Lights.
Mm-hmm.
Like I can't stop raving about Warren Action. Like, we saw it in the spring. Like, we saw it in spring football. I said, yeah, he's gonna be one of the top players we're gonna be talking about on this show for the upcoming season. Warren Action is amazing quarterback.
And he showed it Friday night on TV against in that rivalry win over Carter. So, and you see they're undefeated. In fact, just to give you the heads up, Gibbs in 4A is the number 7 team in the country or in the state right now in 4A. So, yeah. So
that's weird to think.
No, I know. Oh, I know. I mean, like, if you would have told me, after that spring game or what have you, who would have the better record between Gibbs and West, I would have said West. But again,
give these other teams our schedule and see how they
This is true also. Yeah. And actually Gibbs is 8. So, but yeah, I mean, I'm telling you, like, I want to give you the 5A top 10 right now. I mentioned West was number 9. Page is 7-0 at number 1. Sevier County is 7-0, number 2. Powell is number 3 at 6-1. Beach is 4 at 6-1. Southwind is 6-1 at 5. Munford is 7-1 at 6. Shelbyville is 6-1 at number 7, and Walker Valley is 6-2 at number 8. So there's a potential that West would have to play in the second round, Sevier County, who's your number 2 team, Powell, who's the number 3 team, Walker Valley, who's the number 8 team in the 4th round, and then Page in the state championship for the 3rd straight year. That is your gauntlet right now based on these state rankings as of week 8. So
yeah. Page is determined to get that title.
They are. No, they're on a mission. They're kind of like Maryville, By the way, when does Maryville play Alcoa? Is it next Friday? I think it's next Friday, if I'm not mistaken. I'm trying to think because I know that Maryville and Farragut is the last game of the year. So it's not this week because they'd be hyping that game up like anything.
Oh, yeah. We definitely
Battle of Pistol Creek.
Next week?
25th, yep.
Yeah, and I guarantee that Russell and that group are going to be there to cover that game on TV. So yeah, yeah. But yeah, but we got some games that we're going to pick later on as we end the show, like we traditionally do, and we'll give our predictions for the West Anderson County game. But that being said, let's talk about another crazy week of college football, guys. Start it off, man. I mean, do we start with Tennessee, Florida? Do we talk? Can I start off real quick? I want to eat crow because I was the dumbass that said that Ohio State would win by 3 touchdowns against Oregon. I was wrong. I didn't realize how bad Ohio State's defense is. I think they pumped that 20 million into the offense, but they forgot to pay good defensive players and coaches. Just saying. Just saying. I mean,
the game that shocked me was South Carolina, Alabama.
Yeah.
That I did not see that coming.
If that kid doesn't fumble, guys, Alabama's looking at 2 losses going into this game with Tennessee.
Yep.
Yeah, they are.
I mean,
I don't know.
It's been a crazy college football season.
The Alabama's last 2 weeks have been very questionable. Like, you lose to Vanderbilt on the road, you win by 2 against South Carolina. Tennessee, you lose by 5 on the road. You were favored by 14.5. You win by a touchdown?
6 in overtime because they didn't kick the extra point. Yeah.
So, man, it's like this is a must win for both teams. Like it's like if Tennessee is in the playoff picture, you have to win this one in England.
Mm-hmm.
Like, you're gonna have to put somebody designated on Milroe the entire game.
Yep. He's their whole team. There is no running back on that roster that scares me for Alabama. They suck, man. It's Milroe is the runner and the passer. You take him out of the ball game, they're dead in the water, in my opinion.
I'm worried since we lost Peely for the season, though.
I like the way Carter played, and T-Lander's playing a lot better than I expected.
Yeah. I think Peely's a hard soul that defense. As much as Pierce is great on the pass rush, it did Peely all year on that defense, and losing him, man, that takes away that middle, and it hurts.
It does. But one thing I will say is the last 2 games, you James Pierce be the one of the best defensive players in the country.
That stunt they pull where lines up outside, comes in to the opposite side and disrupts that play right there and forces the quarterback into his looked like his guard or his tackle.
Mm-hmm. He just disrupts the pocket, man. He knows how to disrupt.
And that fumble he knocked out on the goal line.
On the goal line. I mean, that right. If that doesn't happen, you're looking at another damn loss of the Gators, for goodness sakes. So, what about the call by Heupel on the own 10-yard line, 4th and inches or whatever like that? Yeah. Man, if they didn't pick that up, dude, I mean, I guess you don't deserve to win the game at that point. But he had to send a message, and I think that it resonated.
That version said everything you needed to know about, like. If he's willing to sacrifice that because sacrifices 1 and gets 6, that conversion tells you the story of the game.
Mm-hmm.
Right there. Because I felt like they're starting off slow, really. And you need to put Nico in more rollout situations where he's on the move with the throw. You got to.
You're going to have to roll him to the right because that left side's been suspect all year. There's been all the penalties over there, sacks coming up from that side. You're going to have to roll him to the right where he's got protection and can at least make a play. But his internal clock is throwing him way off now because that left side's been collapsing so much. That's why his passes are being forced and he's throwing behind his receiver. Or he's not getting set and they're being short. Like, if we're going to roll them out, you got to roll them right. Unless you get something on that left side, but I mean, there's a reason LSU wasn't upset when they lost that transfer. Is that Hurd over there?
Yeah. Mm-hmm. Yeah. Well, can I throw this out there? Very interesting play call by him to go for it, and it was the right result. Here's what's even more important. If he punts the ball, the Gators don't lose that 3 points. Remember, they ran out of time right before halftime, and they had that field goal taken off the. I mean, that field goal right there is the difference right there. You know,
Yep.
so it's weird how I'll also throw something out there. Tennessee was moving the ball pretty well on that first drive, and then the fumble, and then it seemed like it was like a gut punch. Like if they don't fumble and maybe get some points out of that, maybe the offense does a little bit better that half, but it's like they really couldn't recover. It felt like I don't know, but we talked about it off screen. They have got to run Samson and that group of running backs. I mean, that is a weapon, and you're going to need it to control the clock, like Vanderbilt did. I mean, use that recipe that these other teams do. You just need to hold on to the ball. You just can't fumble. That's the problem. So,
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, I was going to say now.
Yeah. I guess I was going to also say, you were talking, Shane, about what a weird season it is. Can we just talk about how weird it is, the traveling that some of these teams are going across the country? Like Penn State was damn lucky to win that game against USC. They looked like crap most of it, and they won in overtime. But I'm just saying that I think that there's a reason why there was Pac-12 football. There was a reason there was Big Ten football. There was a reason it was SEC and ACC. And you had some sexy matchups sometimes on a neutral territory or a home and home. But realistically, there's going to be some teams regretting this geographical change. And I don't even want to think, two-pair, when basketball starts. You know, like when you think about Stanford going across the country to play Chapel Hill, North Carolina, and then maybe, do they just stay there and play Duke 2 days later or something? I mean, I'm just thinking about those type of things for those matchups, especially like a team like Rutgers going to go play UCLA in basketball, women's or men's basketball. It's just crazy, dude. It really is.
All the way to LA. Yeah, that's just gonna be crazy, man.
Yeah, Bishop too.
Like traveling. Like Cal is in the ACC. Just,
I know.
Yeah, it doesn't.
It really doesn't. I mean, it really doesn't. And I mean, it's just to go, because they had to go across country to Pitt and they've lost. They went across the country to Tallahassee and lost. Miami had to go across country. Cal should have probably won that game and so forth. But it's just, there's a lot to talk about that time change, honestly. So some could say the same thing about Ohio State, Oregon. But realistically, Ohio State's offense wasn't the problem. Their defense could not stop Dylan Gabriel, who's now become a Heisman favorite after that performance Saturday night against the Buckeyes. So, I mean, I don't know.
Yeah. He's Heisman worthy. Yeah. But how about Dan Lanning, though?
Oh, dude.
What a hell of an intentional call.
I know.
How smart was it?
He knew he had an opportunity, and he needed to make the most of that opportunity. I mean, you have them at home, and you roll the dice. I mean, you do that. And
intentionally leaving 12 on the field, knowing he's got the runoff, and count, and then you got Will Howard.
Will Howard, yeah.
Just end the game on the slide.
And they paid Will Howard $2 million NIL, by the way, from Kansas State. They did. They did.
Damn, that's tough. That's a tough way to go. But I'll say, one of the better games, the Colorado Kansas State game. How drama filled was that?
That was another one. And what happens if Travis Hunter doesn't get hurt? That changed the dynamic of that game tremendously. One of the best players on the field. So
playing a lot of snaps. Like that would be hard to do at the next level. Like he's doing it, but it's gonna put a lot of wear and tear on that body. Like you're going at it full throttle on both sides of the spectrum. That's gonna be tough to do. Like I think he can do it, but at a high level is the thing.
What do you think his money maker will be, Shane, in the NFL? Is he more of a defense or an offense? I think you got to play him on offense in the NFL.
Yeah, I agree there. I was actually just thinking out my head, like, where will he be best suited? It's got, I think, offensive, because you want the ball in his hands.
Yeah.
You
And
want
not
him to-
risk the injury of the shoulders, tackling some big dudes next year.
Yeah. I mean, he can play either side, obviously, but I think contract-wise and longevity-wise, it's offense. And receivers are getting the better contracts now. So, I mean, but the thing is, offense. You put a receiver, let him do his thing. That's going to be the guaranteed money. That's going to be the guaranteed paydays. That's going to be the guaranteed big second contract. So,
yeah, for sure.
you risk too much with playing defense in the pros if it's we're going back and forth and you're just one wrong hit, you take the wrong move, you're done. So, offense keeps him in the league longer. He gets a good 10, 12-year payday. So.
Yeah, no, it's true. Yeah, I was surprised. I thought Colorado was going to win that game. But Kansas State, I mean, that Big 12 is going to be a very interesting how it plays out. Right now, Iowa State's looking like the darling that's going to get that automatic seed if they can win out. And I know, Two-Pair, you got a soft spot for Iowa State. So the Cyclones. But hey, that coach, Tennessee was kind of looking at that coach a couple years ago before we settled on Heupel. I mean, and I think it all worked out, but Campbell's doing a good job for him over there. So Matt Campbell, I think that's his name. So.
Hey, I'm not going to lie. Like that Iowa State team is not the Iowa State team I played with on my NCAA. It's not, the same, the EA college football. No, this is not the same Iowa State. This Iowa State team is running the ball. Their defensive players are making plays. Abu Sama.
They need to update the rankings on these teams in there.
They do. They hype the rank. Like, they didn't get the real rankings of Iowa State. Iowa State is a lot better than what they play like.
No, this is true. Well, guys, let me ask you this. Kind of looking ahead to this week, we've already kind of talked a little bit about Tennessee Bama being a playoff eliminator game. But my question is, what are your thoughts on Texas and Georgia this Saturday night? This is going to be a big game. And let me just tell you this. There was a Georgia fan that called into a radio show today with Feinbaum. And he said something. And Feinbaum kind of like took it as you're spoiled, Georgia's been the class for the last couple of years, regardless of what happened last year in that SEC championship game. But apparently the Georgia fan states that the reason why Georgia's not looking as good as they have been, especially on the defensive side of the ball, is because Kirby has not replaced the coaches he has lost with quality coaches, that he's, hiring his friends again, like Mike Bobo, who apparently was a Mark Richt guy when that was all going on. I'm not a Georgia, but it was interesting to hear this phone call that they are stating that it's not the players, and you can't really blame the players from a standpoint that they've had top 3 classes for 10 years in a row now, it seems, ever since Kirby's been there. And they've been recruiting at a very high level. But the thing is that these coaches aren't the strategists that they have been. The fact that Mississippi State scored that many points, And here's the thing. Texas looked very, very good against Oklahoma's defense. I mean, we knew Oklahoma's offense stunk, but we knew their defense was good. And Quinn Ewers, after a couple series, shook the rust off and showed why he still should be a Heisman candidate as well. I mean, the way he played.
Oh my God, they
destroyed him.
Oklahoma is a good football team, but they looked very pedestrian against Texas. Like, they looked slow against Texas. They didn't even look like they were in the same. They didn't look like they were in the same. It looked like Texas was just a step faster in every facet of the game. You know, Oklahoma looked bad. That was one of the worst Red River shootouts
ever.
Yeah, that Red River rivalry or whatever. It was bad. That was not a good game to watch. It was bad. It was a very bad game to watch.
And they showcased it. Like, you know what I mean? Like they even had a camera that followed Kirk Herbstreit leaving game day halfway through and him making picks on a plane and getting there in time. I mean, I was like, it was bullshit. It was stupid. It really was. And Shane, let me ask you this. One team looked like they belonged in the SEC. The other team should have stayed in the Big 12. I'm not trying to be a hater, but this is I mean, Oklahoma's going to get their ass whipped in a couple weeks when they play Alabama and everybody else that's still left on their schedule. That's a team that could probably end up with 5 losses when it's all said and done. I mean that.
Yeah, they are what we all expected from them. Like, it was, they've definitely had their welcome to the SEC moments, but Texas is the real deal. And I hate saying that because I'm not a fan of that team. But
and that's Sarkisian. Sarkisian learned from Saban. All these guys learned from Saban of how to recruit and build the culture and the programs. And here's the thing. It just so happens they are the state team with all that beautiful talent in the back. And then they can steal a guy from Florida or California or Georgia, any of these other places.
Texas A&M's issue now because they were the SEC team in the state. So it's like, oh, you won't play against everybody who's the best of the best? Come here. Now you got Texas in there and they got the money and they're showing that, well, we can beat these teams. I think they destroyed Georgia this week.
Really? Yeah. I mean, here's the thing. And I'll tell you this, that stadium is going to be pumped. Bevo, all that game day being there and everything. Yeah. I mean, it is going to be, I'll tell you one thing, man. My channel's not going to be switched from ABC. I got Louisville, Miami at noon. I got Tennessee, Bama at 3:30, and then I got Georgia, Texas at 8 o'clock. What a sexy triple threat or triple header, honestly. Really it is, man.
So that is a beautiful slate of games.
Yeah.
It is a really beautiful slate of games. So 12, the 3, and the 8. I like the fact that they're going later. Like the fact that the primetime game is like 7. And like the midday game, which I like the midday game. The 3:30 game has always been, you know,
from 3:30 to 11, I'm glued to my TV at this point.
Yeah. Well, and I'll tell you this.
I might be a case of beer deep by the time that.
Hey, that's why you got to have DoorDash and the pizza guy. Like, if you don't want to get up and leave, you know what I mean? And cooking.
You start early last weekend, so I have food done by 12.
Yeah. Well, here's the other thing too, guys. Am I not mistaken? But Tennessee, they play Alabama, and then we have another bye week. Is that correct? Like, because I know that there were 4 home games, but is there a bye week after Bama? Because I didn't see Tennessee on the TV schedule for the weekend of the 26th or what have you. I saw Kentucky in November, and then they get what? They play a soft team out of conference.
Yeah, we don't play until November 2nd.
Okay, so beat Bama, you go into another bye week, and then you've got your 5 games in November, pretty much. Kentucky,
Mississippi State, Georgia, UTEP, Vandy.
Wow. Okay. Wow.
I'm curious how Georgia is by the time we get them, and we got to fix the O-line.
Yeah.
Then. Of course, Kentucky, I'm a little worried about Kentucky. I mean, Kentucky's Kentucky, but they've competed.
So. At least it's here. At least I feel better about this team here than I do on the road at this point. If they serve and win,
2 games are at home plus that bye week. So Alabama here, bye week, Kentucky, Mississippi State. Then go on the road to Georgia, then come back home and finish out the season.
Shout out to my guy, Mark Machado, joining the show. By the way, I want to give a shout out to Chris Smith Jr., had his wife and him. She delivered a beautiful baby boy a few days ago. So there is now a Chris Smith the third. So Trey Cinco, a milkman the third. So I want to give a shout out to him. And he actually took Georgia over Texas in that game. He just says that he thinks Georgia until Texas proves him wrong. So Texas will have the chance to prove not only him wrong, but prove to everybody that they are the true number one team in the country come Saturday night around 11:30, whenever that game ends. Real quick, I did want to bring up that Ole Miss LSU game. I really was shocked that Ole Miss blew that game. I thought they had it. I really did. And I guess now Ole Miss is really, really, out of it looking in at this point because they still have a few tough ball games, if I'm not mistaken. So, but yeah, I wanted to give a talk about that one. So, one thing I wanted to ask you guys: has anybody been really catching up with NFL by any chance?
I barely watched the game this year.
I'm telling you, I've not really watched any NFL. I really have not. I cannot say I've watched a full game.
I've watched some NFL and I've been kind of disappointed in like the Jets have a worse record with Aaron Rodgers than they did with Zach Wilson last year.
And they fired their coach.
They fired their coach.
Yep. Yeah. So
the Cowboys.
Oh, they stink.
Yeah, they do.
Like they're being Dallas. I'm starting to understand that I might have to write off the Seahawks. Like the Cardinals, they'll win a game. I'm just looking like the teams that I've watched. Mm-hmm. Tennessee is just awful.
Oh, they're god terrible. They're horrible. It's a miracle they beat the Dolphins, honestly.
Big miracle they beat. And Cleveland hasn't scored 20 points this season. They've not had a game where they scored 20 points.
That's awful. With how much money they've spent on people too to get that. Here, I got one for you. I'll tell you a team who's really disappointed me, the Ravens. They should be better with the talent that they have. They should have a way better record than what the hell they have.
The Bengals, Jaguars, and Ravens are kind of disappointing me.
Yeah, and at this point, guys, it's looking like just hand Kansas City the damn championship at this point. It really is.
Strike.
Just the way it looks.
I mean,
the way it looks.
They lose a Pacheco and put him on IR. They've not missed a beat. The 49ers, it looks like the curse of the runner-up team. I mean, McCaffrey's not even – I bet you McCaffrey doesn't even play it down this year. And that was one of my top fantasy picks. Like, I bet he don't even play it down. So.
I think McCaffrey we're not on – I think McCaffrey comes back like week 10.
I hope you're right. Shit. I hope you're right. It ain't looking good.
Just missed. He didn't play preseason.
Mm-mm.
Yeah, he didn't play. I'm like, when's the last time McCaffrey had a rep?
Probably the Super Bowl, to be honest with you. And the sad thing is that he was flown to Germany for some special treatment to see if they can do something with it. And I don't even know if that was really all that successful or not. So,
well, what it is now, though, you're using your running backs as quick as you can, and then I mean, he did everything he could in Carolina. They shipped him off to 49ers. He's being used there. His body's beat up. Yep. I mean, you don't get those big contracts out of running backs anymore. They're used, and then you find the next guy because they're a dime a dozen.
I swear they really are. I mean, there's some running backs that I don't even know their names, guys. And it's like, who the hell is this guy? And he plays for who? Like, I mean, like when I'm trying to add or drop somebody in fantasy football, it's horrible. I mean, it really is bad. And then you look at some of these quarterbacks. I mean, they've just underperformed. And like you said, some of the games have been unwatchable. They really have been unwatchable. This college football season has far and surpassed the NFL, like hands down. So
It really has.
yeah, because I was thinking about it. I was like, we didn't even talk NFL in last week's show. We had a great job. Shout out to Coach Giles for joining the show. But I was thinking to myself, I was like, but there was nothing to talk about. There was nothing to talk about with the NFL. I mean, who's injured, who's what, who got fired. I mean, shit.
There's a lot to talk about now, like Devontae Adams going to New York, Armani Cooper going to, like, now the NFL tells a great story. It does. The NFL tells a great story because of what you got going with it. Now, with Kansas City doing what it's doing, Dallas looking, and man, this is it'd be cool to see because I think we're more closer to 3 than we were 4 weeks ago.
Oh yeah. No, until somebody shows me otherwise, the Chiefs will always be the standard right now. I mean, and they should be. They deserve it. I don't like them, but they deserve it at this point. So, and it's next man up with them every time. Honestly, every time it's next man up with them with certain players.
Oh, absolutely.
So, yeah. Well, guys, let's circle back to high school. Two-pair, I know that we've got basketball season coming up and everything. What I do want to talk about is, now the schedule has been released and, there's some jamborees and there's some tournaments and so forth. When will be the first time that you actually will call a game at West on the schedule? It's got to be November, right? I mean, it starts in November, if I'm not mistaken. So.
I would say the first game I may call maybe December.
Really?
As far as home game, it could be November. I'd have to pull up the schedule.
Okay.
But it looks it might be the first.
Gotcha. No, I mean, I'm looking forward to attending those games, and we with the winter sports just around the corner, we might need to have Mr. Romero come back on again and see if we can. We definitely got to have Coach E and Coach Graves on and so forth. Definitely got to talk to those two guys for sure. So and see what they want to talk about and make that happen.
We definitely need to get Coach E. We definitely need to get Coach Graves. I think that'd be big. I think that would be it. It needs to happen. Like basketball's getting followed, and now that another outlet for a school in Peloton. If there's some schools that you may not get into right away. How about go ahead and getting that experience playing up against some pretty good competition all over the world, and so you can get that right there in Mississippi.
That's awesome. I mean, I'm so happy for those guys. I'm so happy that they have that because how many guys locally have kind of not, been able to showcase how good they were. This could be a platform for them to showcase their skills. Awesome.
Get out there for a lot of guys that's in the city and a lot of guys that's they're not playing as much. Yeah, this is the outlet that they can have to, play at the high level. A lot of
get yourself on the phone.
Yeah, what I'm saying. A lot of guys don't play at the highest level, so now that you'd be able to do that, why not?
Yep. And some people can't. I mean, if you're not good enough to get a scholarship, some people can't afford going to college. And here they still got the Tennessee Promise, right? So they can still go for 2 years and showcase their stuff. And maybe, like Shane said, get some film out there, and maybe some big team will come and snatch you up that needs you. So, yeah.
Hey, free education is a free education.
Hell yeah, it is. And I'll tell you this, guys, we're really on the cusp. I didn't realize that we're on the cusp of college basketball here very soon as well, and
the media day for the SEC.
Yeah. Well, and here's the other thing too. Do you know what I miss to start the season off? And I wish that they would bring it back. That
Rocky Top?
24 hours of basketball. Well,
Oh,
Rocky. Well, that's a given. That should be in the summer. But honestly, I miss that 24-hour like games that happened that first day, and like you watch Hawaii at like midnight, and then somebody was like at 2 in the morning, and then you woke up at 6 in the morning. I mean, it was just awesome, like basketball all day, and it was like something for college basketball, and I don't know why they took it away. I mean, if it was because of COVID, fine, but that's all gone now in terms of the threat it is. We need to get back to those old like fun things seriously. So yeah, I mean, no excuse, especially for a sport that sometimes gets buried in the back page up until March, and there's too much good talent out there and too many good sexy matchups this year in both
Oh,
the men's and women's game. So yeah,
ton of good matchups.
yeah, for sure. So. Well, guys, let me just ask you this. Let's get to the predictions for the high school because I know it was a little bit of a late show and shorter and so forth. And I know that we've all been putting in a lot of hours and a lot of things going on in our life. I know that it's been never ending with these two hurricanes I've been dealing with, working the 12-hour shifts. Luckily, I will be able to attend the game on Thursday, be up in the press box. But I guess, Shane, go on ahead and give us those slate of games that we're going to pick to see how we do this go ahead. So
all right. Let's see. First one that pops up, we got Alcoa or Scott at Alcoa. Alcoa wins. We already.
my question is this: is it at 40 points in the first half or the second half against Scott for Alcoa? Honestly,
Both have 40 in the first, 30 in the second. Yeah, let's see. Here we go. Maryville.
Yeah, pretty much. I mean, it's going to be a blood.
Yeah.
Maryville's playing who? Cleveland?
Actually,
I'll tell you this. I thought this game would be better. But realistically, Bearden took care of business last week against Cleveland. And I just think Maryville on the revenge tour, they're going to put a pounding on Cleveland. I really believe that. So even on the road. So, yeah, no doubt. No look ahead to Alcoa, I should say. So,
yeah. I got Maryville. They'll clean up the district with this one.
Two pair, who you got, Maryville or Cleveland?
Maryville.
Next.
Jeff County, Farragut, Thursday night.
Oh, wait, who?
Jeff County and Farragut, Thursday night.
Give me Farragut. I'm going to tell you this. I think Farragut's turned the corner. I think Farragut is going to use that Oak Ridge game last week of it against Jeff County this Thursday night.
I got Farragut.
You know what? I do think Farragut has turned the corner. I think they've realized what they are and that they've made the change, the necessary change. Give me Farragut.
Can I also make a joke real quick, guys? I'm still mad at Jeff County for not having the concession stand open and feeding us.
Hey, Catholic still has the best though.
Catholic still has us, absolutely. So yeah.
Catholic has a special place among now. Let's see, Gibbs and Mo East.
Shout out to the Deacon. So, who is it?
Gibbs and Mo East.
Ooh, give me Gibbs.
Yeah.
Gibbs. Yeah, man.
Thursday night game also.
So what's up with all these games being played on Thursday night?
I think it's the end of the season. Playoffs.
Warren Axe, he's gonna.
Hey, he liked it. He's really liked it. Like
he is. He's gonna blow the Hurricanes away, man, on Thursday. So
hey, I gotta try to record that game. I gotta try to record that one. I'm gonna watch.
Probably be on. You know what it'll be on? Diamond Clear Media. Probably get to watch the replay on that, bud. Yeah, Gibbs is Diamond Clear. So
yeah. I got Gibbs. Yeah. Let's see, Bearden at Oak Ridge.
Oh, Bearden by however much they want. I mean, Oak Ridge is. I mean, I could be surprised, but realistically, I have not seen Oak Ridge. I thought corner, but man, I mean, Farragut just did whatever they wanted to, and I think Bearden turned a corner themselves, beating Cleveland last week. Give me Bearden in this game.
Yeah, I was watching Drew Parrott's highlights a little while ago. Now he's back at starting quarterback. He's been back there for a while now, it seems like. But he threw like 220. He had 226 yards and 2 touchdowns last week. Give me Bearden all day. I love Drew, so I want to get that win.
You know what kind of bothers me the most about the whole thing? I'm glad that it kind of righted its ship, but I think that the kid had been your starter all along. Let him finish the story at this point.
And what's so weird, Lee, like I was scrolling his Twitter earlier while I was pulling stuff up. The whole spring and summer, he was working out as quarterback.
Yeah.
Like all the 7-on-7 and everything. So it's a little weird to have that transfer come in and it's like, oh, well, Drew, you lost your spot. And then Drew's the one leading the helm now, where he should be. So.
Yeah, well, and Drew Weirden even ended up winning that game, getting that touchdown in overtime. So, I mean, from the wide receiver position. So that, yeah, I mean, wow.
And you got that 2-point conversion against Alcoa. They went up 22-21 with 14 seconds left, and they missed a tackle, and
that was the end of that.
Let's see, next one up, DB and William Blunt.
Give me Dobbins Bennett on that one. So
yeah. As much as I hate Dobbins Bennett, I give me DB also.
Yeah. Tooper, who you got, DB or William Blunt?
Give me Dobbins Bennett.
Good pick. Good pick. All right. What's next?
They're not giving me for the East this time.
Huh.
I'm going off the Tennesseans website to kind of pick out all the key games. And
you're fine. You're fine.
They're not giving me many this week.
There might be some teams on a bye as well. You know, it's kind of those 2 weeks where it's kind of you're off or I'm off, and then of course the next 2 weeks is going to be the bloodbaths or what have you.
Yeah.
Who's Powell playing this week? I thought Powell was playing Central, if I'm not mistaken.
Let me pull it up.
I thought Powell was playing Central.
You said Powell and Central?
Yeah, Powell and Central, I think, are playing.
I like Powell.
Yeah.
I can't get the schedule to pull up. Max Prep is acting weird. What is going on? Come on. My computer's being stupid, too.
Yeah, I like that.
You didn't pull up on Max Preps for some reason.
No, you're good, man. You're totally good.
Nope, I went too far. Let's see. Yeah, it's homecoming for Powell. They got Central.
Yeah, give me Powell. Yeah, Powell's going to win pretty handily.
Yeah, Powell's been winning every game they've won. They've scored over 30.
Mm-hmm. Oh yeah, and you see, here's the thing: they've got Central this week, then they've got McMinn County next week, an out-of-conference game, and then they finish up with their senior night against us in a couple weeks. So yeah, on the Friday night, the first.
November 1st.
Yep. So. All right, now the Anderson County West game. Does West get a big signature win on TV, or do they go 0-4 and basically Anderson County marches on for a perfect record, setting up a showdown for a region championship against Gibbs in the next couple of weeks? Shane, I'm going to let you go first. Do you got the Rebels in this one or the Mavericks?
Oh. Their scores real quick. Give me 1 second here.
Sure, no problem. I will say that was a very impressive win over Bearden earlier this year. So it was. Yeah.
It was really impressive.
Yeah. And their guys are putting up very nice numbers, very sexy stat numbers.
So their closest game this year was against Powell. They won by 3.
And remember, Powell was without Connor Wheeler that game. He was suspended.
Here's their scores since then: 35-18 over Bearden, 48-27 over Fulton, 56-12 over Seymour, 42-7 over Carter, 47 over Clinton.
So they beat Clinton about the same score West beat Clinton, which was 38-3. So yeah. Okay, this is gonna be a tough game. It's gonna be a tough game.
I hope I'm wrong. Right now, the way Anderson County's playing and the way we've been playing, give me the Mavericks. I hate saying it, but given the way we haven't played a full game of football against quality teams, and unless we can play a full game of football, Anderson County takes this one. I think they take it easy.
All right, two pair. What's your thoughts? Mavericks or Rebels Thursday night in Marble City Senior Night?
I don't think the seniors go out like this. That's painful. That would be painful.
It would be.
I don't think the seniors go out like that. Give me West by 3.
I have been going back and forth on this one. I think that the bye week came at the right time. I am a fan of the Doobie Brothers, and there's a famous song, "What a Fool Believes In." Call me a fool, maybe. I'm hoping I'm absolutely right with this, but I think that West has had enough of our talk. I think West has had enough of the talk of everybody else, and I think that they come out Thursday night and play that complete full game of football and start this streak at 1, and then it takes 7 more of them to become 3-peat champions. And I think that those seniors can get it started and lead by example and have the rest of the team follow. But it starts Thursday night. So give me West 31, Anderson County 24. Rebels big win, and get ready for Halls and Powell to see if they can win a 5th straight region championship. So
That's what I think, man. I think, a little bit of me is being a homer.
Of course. I mean, I want to believe, but realistically, can I just say this? If not now, guys, when?
When?
We're already at week 8. I mean, this is the 8th game. Come on. I mean, it's not like we're like, oh, this is still early in the season. No, there is no tomorrow.
No.
There is no tomorrow.
We're past.
It's now. It's now. Or you're rolling out the basketballs. You know what I mean? I'm telling you. So, vámonos. So,
spring.
Yeah. Next week, I'm going to see if we can get a former player on, or we might even maybe get a coach on, maybe get Romero on. I don't know. We'll see what we have for next week. But it's been a great show, a little bit of a shorter show this week without a guest. But I will say this, we talked a lot. And just sit back and grab your popcorn, because this is going to be an epic next 3 days of football between high school and college, definitely in this area for sure. And definitely go Vols on Saturday and beat that Alabama ass. So two pair, finish this show up. And like we always do, brother, we got to throw up that W for sure. So, yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, Rebels with a cause, man. Love and grease. And just try to keep winning in everything you do in life. It doesn't stop even when that clock does strike 0. The calls don't stop. Man, you got a great one. Enjoy your week. We'll be back at y'all next week. Same time, same coverage.
Amen. Go Rebels.
Go Rebels. Stay your dubs up.
Seniors get that win.